My boyfriend's 34/M wife called me 22/F over the phone. I met him at my new job. He was the sweetest gentleman and we clicked right off that bat. I had no suspicions of him having a partner since he wasn't wearing a ring, would stay after work with me without checking his cell phone, and obviously because I asked him. He told me he did have kids, and that he was broken up with his kid's mom since early 2013. We went out on dates and I would even pick him up and drop him off while he was staying at his aunt's house, which I assumed he was living while he got his stuff together after being broken up with his ex whom he lived with for 12 years. I always asked him if he was sure he didn't want to make it work with her because 12 years and 3 kids is a lot to just let go. His response was that they had way too many arguments and just couldn't make it work anymore. Our relationship moved pretty quickly. We were together and going out all the time. He would sleep over at my house almost every day out of the week. Now since he had kids, I told him I wouldn't text or call him much during the weekends while he was with them because I wanted him to fully enjoy the time he was spending with them. However, sometimes I would call and his phone would either be off or he would call me back later and claim that his kids were playing with the phone, which I thought, hey, I never dated anyone with kids, or have kids around me, so maybe he's telling the truth. I guess I always had that gut feeling that he was lying, but I loved him and I trusted him. Last weekend his phone was off for 2 days straight and I had enough since I always told him I had suspicions of him doing things on the weekend, and as much as it hurt me, I told him to pick up his stuff from my house because it was too much for me. He cried to me and told me he couldn't lose me. Then he tells me, do you really think I have the energy to be living a double life? Which is exactly what he was doing. But stupid me, I believed him and we continued. Fast forward to yesterday morning, when his ex calls me. She calls and asks who I am, so of course I'm asking who she is. She tells me she's his wife. I had asked him before why he never got married and he would tell me it just didn't happen. Every single thing he told me almost every day for 4 months was a lie. He was still living with her and his kids when he met me. She left him and moved out because he didn't come home for 3 days when he was with me, meaning they were never even separated. She was there this weekend with him. They went to a wedding and family gathering where he was texting me both days about how much he loved me and missed me, and she was suspicious and saw his phone and heard my voicemails and saw my texts. She asked me to confront him with her, and he just couldn't say anything. He did however say he was sorry, all thanks that helps, and that it sounds stupid but I do love the both of you. Turns out either he would bring her with his kids when he would pick her up, or she would go herself on weekends because she thought they were trying to save the marriage. He would be with me during the week and her on weekends. Just. Who even does that? After we confronted him, his wife and I talked for an hour or 2 more and just put all the pieces together. Turns out it wasn't the first time he did this to her. I'm hurt, I'm angry, I'm confused on how trust even works anymore. I love this guy and got used to having him around. I know it was a short amount of time, but we were just so comfortable around each other. He was the perfect boyfriend, or so I thought. It's very hard for me to even understand what just happened. It's like one day I was so happy, no big problems, and then the next bam. I feel like I had a sweet amazing boyfriend and I just lost him like nothing. I keep reminding myself not to think about it, that it was all just lies, but I can't get this off my mind. I can't even sleep. All I want is answers and he won't give them to me. What makes a person do something so evil? Why did he have to involve me in his lies? Just why? I never looked for him. He was the one to approach me and he would talk about how he wanted a serious relationship and how he saw me in the rest of his life. According to him, he only continued talking to her because of the kids, while he was telling us both that there was nobody else in his life. Just this past week he took my face in his hands and told me it was only me. That he would always cherish me and never do anything to hurt me. Some joke, right? Edited for more context. TL, Dr. New boyfriend was really just using me to cheat on his wife. Hi guys, I promise to love you if you like, comment, and subscribe. I'm sorry this happened to you. He's selfish. Someone who isn't that selfish or pushy will never understand the actions of someone who is. Look at the bright side, you can now date someone your own age who doesn't have so much baggage. Thank you. You're right, and I do see the bright side. In a way, I always thought about that, and asked myself what I was doing with someone older who had kids and lived out his 20s already, but young love is blind, I guess. This happened to a good friend of mine. She ran into some chick and they were talking about their boyfriend, and eventually they realized they were talking about the same guy. They decided to confront him together. One of them was having an anniversary dinner with him, so the other hid in the bathroom and came out when they were both seated. She came over and gave the other GF a hug and sat down at the table. He started freaking out and they both started to yell at him together. He called them witches, and they followed him down the street telling him he's a piece of poop. I'm glad the women got together and blamed the right person instead of each other. I'm glad you don't have to see him anymore. Most people aren't sociopaths. I'd be shocked if you ever encountered this again. Good luck. My 18F boyfriend 20M, still contacting a girl he flirted with when we were broken up for 2 weeks. He is going to sleep on the same bed with her when he visits her town. Me and my boyfriend split up in early January during an argument, but 2 weeks later he apologized for the breakup, then asked me for another chance. Of course, I accepted. Within that span of 2 weeks, he visited the college town his younger sister was in. While out clubbing with her and her friends, he got friendly with his sister's roommate, let's call her Van. Being single at the time, he flirted like crazy with her and they almost slept together. They didn't though. Van offered to share her bed with him when he comes back and visits again. When we got back together, he told me he couldn't stop thinking about and regretting the breakup the whole time. How none of his past exes, he has about 7 of them, made him feel the way I made him feel, and I was the only one he bothered reconciling with. At one point, he even invited me to go visit his sister at the same town, telling me to get a dress to go clubbing in. However, this plan wasn't set, it was just a suggestion. He is going to visit next week, and yesterday he confessed to me everything. Since flirting with her, Van is still pursuing him through text and Snapchat. Now fellow Redditors, I don't know if he reciprocates in the same flirtatious manner, but he does reply her, and actively likes her posts too. With all honesty, he told me he might still sleep on the same bed with her. He told me nothing will happen, unless he gets blind silly and accidentally sleeps with her. He knows this is cheating. This happened in his relationship before me. He cheated on his ex when he was super wasted, something he confessed to me too at the same time. I'm feeling so broken and scared right now, it's eating me from the inside. He keeps telling me that nothing will happen between them, and who knows, maybe I'll end up tagging along in the end. I'm busy with college applications right now, so it's quite hard. However, considering his past, I can't help but feel sick to my stomach. I plan on meeting him tonight and talking about it, and if that doesn't happen, I might contact his younger sister since she's close to Van, and being the same age as me and with a boyfriend, she should understand, right? Lastly, is it even a good idea to trust him? Thank you so much if you've read through all the way. I just need some clarity and a place to vent. I'm hurting so much. Edit. First of all, I'm really overwhelmed by the amount of response I've received from all of you. I've read every single one and I want to thank you all so much. You've all made me feel so much better and helped me immensely. Last night I met up with him face to face and I told him every single thing, how ducking messed up the whole idea is, and how he definitely went too far. I gave him an ultimatum, sleep on her bed or even anywhere near her and it's over for good. He is not going on the trip next week, and next time if he does go, he's going to sleep on a separate mattress on the floor with his sister. He has made an agreement with his sister that he's not going to accompany her clubbing anymore, so getting blind silly is out of the equation. I forgot to mention that when he confessed all this to me, he was upset about the relationship at the time. I told him I might move to another country in the future for my career, and he got extremely upset at the possibility that we won't have a future and be together forever. He has this annoying tendency to act tall, tough and alpha, especially when he feels vulnerable, so he says ducked up poop only to regret it all later. This happened when he broke up with me. Now I know it's not all nice and rosy just because he promises me all this. I'm still keeping my boundaries, and if he oversteps them I'll happily end it. Whatever happens though, I'm not going to let his actions make me feel like poop anymore. I'm looking forward to college and an interview happening next week. Once again, thank you so much, fellow Redditor. Unless he gets blind silly and accidentally sleeps with her answered in a few words, why bother with someone who is going to cheat on you? He even told you to his face that he can't be faithful. Focus on college and make your time worth it than wasting it on someone who will never give you that time back. Nope, nope, nope. I wouldn't trust him as far as I could throw him. The fact that he even thinks this is acceptable makes him a terrible boyfriend who clearly doesn't care about your feelings. He's basically dating her. He's setting up your expectations and testing your reaction. Don't put up with this poop.